an idiot. Colin Powell said it best. He's a national disaster. He's an embarrassment to this country. It makes me so angry that this country has gotten to this point, that this fool, this bozo, has wound up where he has. He talks how he wants to punch people in the face. Well, I'd like to punch him in the face. The news and saw this odd guy with little hands, and he was like raving. He said that about somebody. He'd like to punch him in the face. And how dare he say that with a crowd? How dare he say the things he does? Of course I want to punch him in. Come on, Donald, this is ridiculous. This is nuts. This is insane. Because what he's been saying is really totally crazy, ridiculous stuff that he shouldn't be even.
Yeah,
nuts. Totally nuts.
By real boxers in movies. I watched him last night. Truly believe he may be punch drunk. And then he says, at the end, he says, "Wake up, punchy," he says to you. And that's not the only time. And he moved over to Truth Social. Robert De Niro, whose acting talents have greatly diminished with his reputation now shot, must even use a teleprompter for his foul and disgusting language. So disrespectful to our country. Now, in all fairness to the former president, is that true? Do you have to use a teleprompter when speaking about President Trump? Or are you able to just kind of riff on your thoughts on him?
Yeah, he's so stupid.
Yeah, he's so stupid. 7 words, and Robert De Niro just ended Trump's rant on live TV. Trump tried to roast De Niro from his bunker on Truth Social, called him washed up, punch drunk, said he needed a teleprompter just to insult him. And De Niro didn't flinch, didn't rant, just looked straight into the camera and hit back with one brutal line. That's not a comeback, that's a KO. No script, no filter, just raw truth. The irony? Trump, the so-called tough guy, whines like a toddler every time someone claps back. Calls De Niro disrespectful to the country. This coming from the guy who dodged the draft and called war heroes losers. Yeah, spare us the Patriot Act. Jimmy Kimmel set it up perfectly. He let Trump talk his nonsense and gave De Niro the last word. And man, did he deliver. Because Trump's weakness isn't hate, it's laughter. And nothing cuts deeper than a joke that's true. So if you're tired of the noise, the drama, the fake tough guy act, hit subscribe right now. Not just to laugh, but to wake up the truth. This is comedy with a purpose. And we're just getting started.
Why do you think people respond to the gangster genre so much? What is it? Why is that a classic genre?
Well, I don't know. You know, it's just that people like the outlaw type thing, except we have a wannabe gangster in the White House now.
Yeah. He does. He tries to act like a tough guy. Yeah. He tries to act like a made man, yeah.
Yeah, like a made guy, yeah.
Exactly.
You call in a certain, you'd say, disappointed Dunsky. And a Dunsky is the way of calling a Don, sort of a contracted way of a Don.
Oh, really?
And so a D and a DD, you'd call him. Disappointed Dunsky.
Really?
That's what he is. He's a dumb.
We have a gangster in the White House now. That's not a movie quote. That's Robert De Niro on national television, turning Donald Trump into a joke. And not just any joke, a Dunsky. If you know mob lingo, you know what that means. A Dunsky is a Don who failed, a boss who embarrassed himself, a guy who wanted to be feared but ended up being laughed at. De Niro, the original made man, just stripped Trump of all his fake swagger. No guns, no mob, just words. Stephen Colbert didn't even have to roast him. He just tossed the ball and De Niro slammed it. Because let's be real, Trump walks like a mobster, talks like a mobster, but acts like the guy who'd get whacked in the first 10 minutes of Goodfellas. All bark, no brains. And when De Niro calls him a disappointed Dunsky, he's not roasting a politician. He's exposing a fraud. So if you're done watching this clown play dress up in power, subscribe right now. This isn't just comedy, it's payback with a punchline.
Stupid. Stupid. Silly.
It's not necessary?
No. It's just a as everybody says, it's just the Trump with his big ego saying, I want a wall. And he's going to be obstinate until it gets. It's all stupid. It's all stupid stuff.
What's the matter with him?
That's a good question. What's the matter? Well, we have to get rid of him.
What's the matter with him? That's Robert De Niro asking a question we've all thought, only he asked it live on TV, and he didn't whisper it. He unleashed it. Trump's obsession with the wall, not policy, not strategy, just ego. Big, loud, empty. He wants a wall, De Niro said, and he's gonna stay obstinate until he gets it. Sound like a president to you? Nope. It sounds like a spoiled rich kid who threw a tantrum because the butler forgot the caviar. And that's why De Niro said it's all stupid. Not political, not controversial, just plain stupid. And when a Hollywood legend, a guy who's played mob bosses, war vets, and courtroom killers, calls your politics silly, you've officially lost the plot. But De Niro didn't stop there. He said what millions are scared to say out loud: we have to get rid of him. Not with violence, with votes, with voices, with truth.
We're trying to be gentlemen in this world, the Democrats. You are gangsters. You are gangsters. You're washed up. You.
You're a little punk. You're a softy. You're a
Watch your back.
You're trash.
Wow. What do they call it? Trump derangement syndrome? Somebody's deranged over there.
That's exactly what this is, Maria. That is Trump derangement syndrome.
Holy moly.
And it's on explosion. We're seeing it on television firsthand. You know, we used to like De Niro in the 90s and Goodfella and Heat, but today he's continuing to show the American people he's out of touch. He can achieve the American dream, but most Americans can't today. He doesn't even understand what he's saying. Trump is a dictator. It's Biden. Remember, Biden is the one that authorized legal deadly force against President Trump during that Mar-a-Lago raid.
Right.
Biden is the one that has allowed for our country to go to an abysmal place.
You are gangsters. You are gangsters. That's Robert De Niro, not reading a script, not playing a character, but dropping bombs on live television. And just like that, every Fox News host erupted. Trump derangement syndrome, they shouted. We used to like De Niro, back in Goodfellas. Oh yeah? You liked him when he played a gangster, but now you can't handle it when he calls one out? Make it make sense? Fox News went full meltdown mode, spinning in circles, trying to gaslight America like it's their final mission. They say Biden's the dictator. They say he authorized deadly force. Where were they when Trump praised dictators like Kim Jong-un or tried to overturn a U.S. election? De Niro said it best: we're trying to be gentlemen in this world. But maybe the time for being gentle is over. Because truth hits hard. And when you punch with honesty, it rattles every network built on lies. And if you're still watching this, you're one of the real ones. Join the army of truth tellers. Because this isn't just commentary, this is a cultural war with punchlines that cut deep.
Nobody has worse Trump derangement syndrome than Robert De Niro, and this is peak derangement. What an absolute moron.
The idea to be bullied at my age by someone like this is not happening. And I think other people are going to have to stand up and just, because it's either that or you're going to find yourself in a situation that's so terrifying. We always hear about people from Eastern Europe, the Jews from other parts of Eastern Europe, from Western Europe coming over. Look what happened in France with the Nazis and so on. And they come over and you hear these, and when I was a kid, they'd say, you don't really appreciate this country. You don't really appreciate what we know from experience. Imagine what those people went through. I'm just starting to see it. You know, as a kid, I said, Hitler, it's a nightmare that never would happen. But now
Nobody has worse Trump derangement syndrome than Robert De Niro, says a guy who looks like he lost a custody battle with his beard, but while that podcaster was busy spitting weak insults from a swivel chair, De Niro just went nuclear. This is not happening, he said. Not to me, not at my age, not in this country. Because silence in the face of fascism is how nightmares begin. This isn't just a celebrity rant. This is a man who grew up hearing real stories from real survivors who escaped real dictatorships. He's not comparing Twitter bans to tyranny. He's talking about actual tyranny, the kind that marches in boots and erases your voice before you know it's gone. He's warning you, right now. Because history doesn't announce itself when it repeats, it whispers, while the loudest people mock the ones who speak up. And if you hear what he's saying, then don't just nod your head in silence. Take 3 seconds and hit that subscribe button right now. Because in this era, Staying silent is the most dangerous thing we can do. Let's make sure this message doesn't fade like the rest. Let's make noise together.
Robert De Niro had the audacity to compare a Trump presidency to Nazi Germany.
And I think other people are going to have to stand up and just, because it's either that or you're going to find yourself in a situation that's so terrifying. We always hear about people from Eastern Europe, the Jews from other parts of Eastern Europe, from Western Europe, coming over. Look what happened with France and with the Nazis and so on. And they come over and you hear these, and when I was a kid, they'd say, "You don't really appreciate this country. You don't really appreciate what we know from experience." Imagine what those people went through. I'm just starting to see it. As a kid, I said Hitler, it's a nightmare that never would happen. But now I see that it's possible.
We already had a Trump presidency, and it was nothing like the media foreshadowed it to be and warned us about. There was no new wars. The economy was good. The border was under control. We were doing good across the board on all metrics. So what the
De Niro wasn't being dramatic. He was being real. The man sat there, eyes heavy, voice cracking, and told America, it's starting to feel like the same shadows we escaped are creeping back in. The stories of Europe, the screams beneath totalitarian boots, the quiet warnings from survivors who had seen true evil, all of it now echoing in a free country, where hate gets louder and truth gets laughed at. But wait, cue the actually crowd. We had a Trump presidency and it was totally fine. No new wars, great economy, secure border. So what's the big deal? Here's the big deal. Tyranny doesn't always come with tanks. It starts with gaslighting. It grows with silence, and it thrives when we mock those brave enough to raise the alarm. You don't need bombs dropping to lose a democracy. You just need to stop caring until it's too late.
Robert De Niro.
I'm going to say one thing. Fuck.
He walks out, crowd cheering, cameras flashing, and then, boom. De Niro doesn't waste a second. He steps to the mic, looks America dead in the face, and drops the biggest uncensored mic drop on live television. I'm going to say one thing, forget it. That wasn't a curse word, it was a cannon shot. The kind that shakes a room and rattles a presidency. This wasn't Hollywood rage. This wasn't some actor having a moment. This was a warning from a man who's seen too much and decided to stop pretending everything's okay. Some people whisper resistance. De Niro? He yells it.
A protest of Robert De Niro yesterday is a fool. He's a broken down fool standing out there. He got maggot. He got maggot yesterday. He got a big dose of it.
Donald Trump popping off on the Biden campaign's De Niro stunt, which bombed harder than Robert's last 5 movies. The actor was outside the Trump courthouse, letting his undiagnosed Trump derangement syndrome get the best of him. And even the liberal media was embarrassed.
This was a bad idea. This entire thing was not a great idea.
Step away from celebrities. I don't think it helps. I think it kind of almost, in a weird way, sometimes backfires. Oh, those liberal Hollywood elites, and they're well-intentioned, and Robert De Niro is well-intentioned, but I think staying away from the courthouse would have been the best thing.
Boom. Trump fires back, like a schoolyard bully with a billion-dollar podium. He calls De Niro a broken-down fool, says he got MAGA'd, whatever that even means. But wait, Fox News didn't just echo it, they amplified it. Suddenly, the same Hollywood legend who gave us Goodfellas, Heat, and Taxi Driver is now reduced to a liberal embarrassment, all because he showed up outside a courthouse. They mocked his movies, laughed at his age, and labeled him mentally unstable, just for speaking up. But here's what they're really scared of. It's not De Niro's words, it's his influence. Because when a legend speaks, people listen. And when a legend rebels, that's when power starts to panic.
I love this city. I don't want to destroy it. Donald Trump wants to destroy not only the city, but the country, and eventually he could destroy the world. We New Yorkers used to tolerate him when he was just another grubby real estate hustler masquerading as a big shot. A two-bit playboy lying his way into the tabloids, pretending to be a spokesperson for himself. He was calling it as himself for himself, to fool the press into inflating his net worth. A clown. Donald Trump wants to destroy the world.
That wasn't a movie line. That was Robert De Niro, raw and unfiltered, in front of a crowd, warning the world. He didn't mince words, didn't sugarcoat. He straight up said Trump could destroy the world. Not just the city, not just America, the whole damn planet. From tabloid hustler to self-appointed billionaire. Calling reporters pretending to be someone else just to inflate his ego and his bank account. De Niro remembers. New Yorkers remember. The phony deals, the fake headlines, the clown act. But this isn't the 80s anymore. That clown now holds a political army. And De Niro? He's not playing roles anymore. He's sounding alarms. Because when the man who once played gangsters says this guy is the real threat, you'd better start paying attention.
The people that are doing it right now about Biden telling you how you should vote, even though you know he's impaired, you definitely shouldn't vote for Trump.
He has no understanding that I can see of the outside world other than anything around him. He has no idea of what his purpose in life is as the president should be, and that is to pull the country together, to be for the people, to heal wounds, not to open them up and pour salt on them.
Don't tell people that, you idiot, because it's going to make more people angry and want to vote for Trump. You are not going to convince anyone walking down the west side of New York City talking into your phone about what a threat Trump is to democracy. You aren't changing anybody's vote. You're just being a condescending, scolding, liberal which is what drives everyone crazy.
I always say he's a lowlife. He's a lowlife.
Joe Rogan asked the question straight. And Robert, he didn't hold back. This wasn't just a critique of Trump. This was a complete demolition of the political elite, left and right. De Niro called out Biden's tone-deaf lectures. He mocked the idea of liberals preaching democracy from the sidewalks of Manhattan, as if that ever changed a single vote. And then, the hammer dropped. He's a lowlife. This is beyond partisanship now. This is about two men, one a Hollywood icon, the other a podcast giant, both standing in disbelief at the chaos American politics has become. And you know what's wild? Even Robert De Niro knows the truth. That finger-wagging lectures don't unite this country. They push it to the edge. And in the middle of it all, Trump watches smirking. Because chaos is his stage. And like any good showman, he thrives in the noise.